Welcome back everybody, and thanks for tuning in. Today what we're going to do is talk about what I carry in my pack. I'm not going to show everything because I obviously don't have food portions prepared. I can show you what I have for clothing. What I will do is I'll show you the clothing that I would bring and for the different lengths of time. We'll start on the back of the pack or the outside of the pack. I'll always bring a tarp with me. Okay, you need a tarp, paracord. This, I just left the paracord on and used it at various camps on different trees, tying different knots at different lengths. Bring a tarp. Depending on the trail, where you're going, it may not even be something you can utilize, but keep it anyway, because if all hell breaks loose on the trail, you will just pull it over you and at least hang out until the rain passes. A little chunk of an old sleep pad. You don't even need to, it doesn't even need to be this big. I find it useful when you're at camp, because these camps, at best you'll have a fire pit and somebody will have left or kept or built a little log across a couple stumps. So anything's a little nicer than nothing. But again, you'll notice that there's a lot of things that I carry or bring or wear or do that don't scream lightweight. My Frog Togs rain jacket smells of campfire. This thing lasted me through 3.5, 4 days of rain. It works perfectly. Lightweight. And best of all, I think it was $15 and it came with pants. So even if it gets destroyed, you're not out a whole bunch. Camp shoes, Crocs, sandals, flip-flops, whatever the hell you want to bring. I bring these because I had them. I would go lighter with flip-flops or something. You do want some protection when you're in the bush because you are still in the bush. I found that when I was at camp, these things gave me more of a blister than anything, so I hacked a chunk out of them. Again, when you put things on the outside of your pack, spend the money. This is good for 75 pounds. This little one that came with it's good for 5 pounds. Like they're strength rated. They're meant for carrying and holding things. These ones you get with like energy drinks, and they go to the side so easily that you'll lose all your shit. All your stuff will get lost. Look at that, even just goofing with it, it broke. So you don't want any of your valuables on the outside of your pack held on by garbage. So spend the money on good carabiners or whatever. They're $6 each, but it's worth it if your stuff is not going to fall off. So bring camp shoes. I wear gaiters. Sorry I didn't clean these because I ripped it and I'm going to throw them out and buy new ones. Gaiters are something that are important because you saw how muddy those were. It's either those or your pants. A pack cover stuffed inside somewhere, probably in the top pocket, needs to be quickly accessible. Most of the time you end up wearing that all the time in the mountains because, well, it rains or you're getting misted on almost all the time in the mountains. Of course, my tent, that is crushed up as much as it can be and strapped around the bottom of my sleeping pad, straps at the bottom of my backpack, poles, and hiking poles. But of course, as I mentioned, I use these 95% of the time. I don't see why not. You don't always need them. Now, there's a couple other things that'll be hanging off my pack. Binoculars. Binoculars, you don't need to bring them if you don't want to. It's kind of nice because you get a decent look at the glaciers and whatnot. Obviously this isn't going to work, so I'm going to have to buy a new one of those outfits, but whatever. Video camera, that was on the Velcro dots you see on the pack with my elastic band. Sunglasses, of course. I buy $24 sunglasses from MEC because that way if I sit on them or they get scratched a bit, because when it's not raining I put them on. When it is raining, I don't really have a nice soft place for them. I do have, I think, a pouch, but it just goes in my pocket. I don't really care a whole bunch about them because they're disposable. That's what they're for to me. Yeah, so binoculars, video camera. All right. So I've got a bear spray hanging off my pack. This is a camera case that I just happened to put this little Nikon in. So that hangs off there. I have a watch. And of course, the bear bell that you take out of this, and it's quite loud. You just want to wear it to notify them. Here's this elastic and those dots. Phone I bring, usually that just goes into one of the side pockets or up top. It depends how often I'm going to use it. If I use it for videos or photography, obviously I'll have it out more, but it depends. GPS, little Garmin eTrex 20, just the old basic one, probably cost me 180 bucks, 200 bucks, but I'll tell you it's fantastic. And there was times that it was so grown over that on the way back I got off track enough that I used the zoomed in trail to get me back on the right trail, so to speak. It was very helpful. Takes 2 AA batteries, so you can actually bring them with you instead of needing to stick it on a charger. That's exactly why I went out and purchased this Nikon Coolpix L32, is because it came with, it's like one of the last ones on the planet, I believe. You can shoot with AA batteries. That way, again, you could just bring extras instead of needing to recharge it. I was asked the other day about knives on specific trails or certain trails or anything of that sort. So I'm just going to basically explain what I carry, and it's just this CRKT Columbia River knife and tool. And it's just this little free range knife. Cuts open a bag, cuts rope, whittles wood, makes kindling if you need to, or shavings. It works perfectly. I do sleep with it like this open at night, I won't lie, just because. Gives you a peace of mind, I guess. Although something like that, if you're going to stick a bear, you're just going to piss him off probably, because unless you get him right where it counts, take his throat. On the Athabasca Pass, for instance, because I was able to have fires, I got this Gomboy saw. It works, it's quite light, packs away. I don't bring this big plastic case, that's ridiculous, but it works out quite nice, folds in on itself. Got to be careful though, it's got a thin blade, nice tight, like strong blade, sharp blade, but you got to let this particular part do most of the work. If you pull it out too far, it'll get jammed and things don't look so nice, as this one doesn't, but it still works great. So bring a saw if you can have fires, bring an axe or a little hatchet if you can. Again, there's no real need on a lot of the parks type trails to bring a whole lot of a knife. You can carry something larger if you want. This is just a heavy old Smith & Wesson one. This is nice, but it's unnecessary unless you're out there to do specific things. Like if you're out there for a day or two and you want to make a shelter, and you want to see if you can build a lean-to or something of that nature, then that's what you would need something like this for. You don't need a big knife. Again, you can bring it if you want to do bushcraft or something of that nature, but you don't need a big knife for the Rockies. Again, I just have this little folding knife. I think it's great, does everything I need. I don't bring the holster. Again, that's so I don't need all that extra. The carabiners, remember, spend money. You can bring a little spade, feel the need, to have to cover. You can dig a hole, poop in the hole, cover your poop. Most of the trails, including the Athabasca Pass had some sort of toilet, even if it was only a hole in the ground and you sit on a log. That's real. You can bring a spade. I didn't. I don't. The only thing you really need is a saw if you can have fires. The Osprey 3-liter hydraulic pack, that's of course going to weigh about 3 kilograms full, 1 kilogram a liter. That's an automatic weight addition, let's say. I have these usually within grabbing reach or hanging off the pack on a carabiner. So I'll go to a stream, scoop it, boil it, or filter it into my bladder. The only time I'll really use them for clean water is if I've been able to boil the water and then pour it into here to cool down. Then I feel it's been also somewhat sterilized. Okay, so the way it generally works when I do it is I usually pack in like sections. I'll have a sleep, food, cooking, safety, and first aid. This, of course, let me just clarify before you think I bring more first aid than anything else. I have more here than a World War II medic. This is everything. So before I go, depending on how long I'm going and what I take, I literally take whatever I'm not going to take out, put it in a big Ziploc, and that's the end of it. But when it comes back, I just throw it all in here. Then I know it's in here. So this is just my first aid and whatnot. We'll go through that in a little bit more depth in a bit. Here's some food. I'll show you that. Like I said, I don't have any portions, so I'll just have to walk you through a lot of that. And there's my sleep gear. And then there's some stuff that I'll also explain to you that I have kind of in the tent in what I like to call comfort bag. It would be like your shaving kit if you were going to go away for a few weekends, that type of stuff. First, what I'll do is when you go, you want to bring a map of the area that you're going. This is the Athabasca Pass, quite literally from the start, and I fold this map so it fits to the Athabasca Pass, and then I come back. In this, I as well have some other map that has the elevation. I have my wilderness pass, and also in behind here, I will have the reservations for the campsites along the way, because you have to do that. You can't just pull up to the Skyline Trail and go, because you'll get to one of the sites and there's only about 8 tent pads, and if you get there thinking that you can just do the hike, you'll end up at that one of the campsites that'll be full inevitably because it's the Skyline Trail, and there won't be a tent pad for you, and you'll be out the night sleeping in a valley somewhere, which I guess is fine but not ideal. In a waterproof fold over and Velcro, bring a map of the area, a compass, but only if you know how to use it, I guess. But again, the GPS is more than sufficient in that regard. I like to bring things like animal tracks. And this, in fact, is something I read on the internet. This was actually really handy. Yeah, and it's just some gentleman online had his experience on the Athabasca Pass. My first aid thing, of course, you can use square bandages and triangular bandages, moleskin type material. I usually bring a couple pair of nitrile gloves, different types of bandages, Benadryl in case you get you're allergic to something out there, Tylenol, back pain or something for old folks like myself, diarrhea medication because you're not sure what you're going to be encountering in the water, so, a couple tabs of Sinutab, and of course I don't bring all of this. I take like 1 or 2 cleaning wipes. I usually have some matches, some extra trail tape, just more bug spray, of course a lighter, batteries for the GPS, stuff like that. Maps, keep those up in the pouch up top. As a matter of fact, I can even generally reach them at times if I need to, so that works out pretty good. Now we'll go back kind of inside the bag to like what I call my comfort bag in the tent. I have more bear spray in there, so I have a belt on if I want, or I just carry the bear spray in my pocket. There's a horn I usually leave that beside me. That's what it would be in the middle of the night, kind of, if I needed to freak something out, scare it away. Just get this out of the way as well. These are just batteries for that silly camcorder, so Brunton, this thing's quite heavy as well, but I brought that thinking it has a charging jack that fits my phone, so, and it's supposed to get 2 or 3 full cell phone charges at least, I think, out of that one. So although heavy, I thought I was going to utilize my phone a bit more. Didn't, so it ends up kind of just being a dead weight. However, I found out now that this works wicked with the GoPro. Of course, video cards, memory cards. Now these are bare bangers and flares. Now again, I've kind of explained these before, but you pull this down and lock it into place. You undo this black cap, screw that on, and then you just pop it up and it shoots it in the air, and then so I generally only bring a couple of these. I don't feel I need to bring this whole pouch. So we've got like bear spray, the bear horn, electronics, but they're kind of in a different bag. They're in one of these waterproof bags. I've got my light. It acts generally as my flashlight, or if I want to hang it in my tent, in the light diffuser that's at the top of the dome. So yeah, that's my light. That sticks with me in the tent as well. Pack towels, depends on what size you want. Large one, if you think you're going to go for a swim or fall in a river. Comes in their own little pouch. I don't tend to always put them in the pouch. I usually just stuff them wherever I feel they need to go. I bring this size, more of a tea towel size. Works for washing up at the river, or getting your, just rinsing off. If you leave it in the pouch, this is an abrasive pouch. Works good on dishes and cleaning up if you need to scrub pots or pans. I'm gonna have to cut this video short, I think, and then be able to go into my sleep, the food, clothes, and cooking in a little bit more depth. So I think I might actually do that, guys. I hate always doing that, but this video is gonna be about half an hour, and I don't think I'm exciting enough for anybody to sit here and listen to for a half an hour, so I'll break it up for you guys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end this first video here. I'm going to get into one more thing before I end the video. I got my crosswords and toilet paper. This bag here is the one that slips into this little pouch on the side, and in that I have a mosquito net, head net. Call me what you will, but I would rather this than be attacked beyond belief. It fits obviously over a hat. There's different styles you can get. These are just spruce up your water, but unfortunately I don't bring a vessel that I can put clean water in other than my bladder unless I'm at camp. But I don't bring this whole thing. I usually bring 1 or 2, put them in. In here I'll have a ferrocerium rod just to piss around with and start fires. Just throw too many sparks, but light my table on fire. That's interesting. That's really nice. That's a light my fire one. A whistle. Little container in case you want to bring some. A lighter, of course. Bug spray. Carmex, because I hate when my lips are chapped. I don't know why. I have a Sharpie in case I need to write a note to somebody, I guess. And an extra bear bell that I carry. Also in here what I'll have is granola bars, granola portions, a candy bar, those types of things. Whatever I want to bring, that's what goes in there. And I keep that, again, with me at all times. We've pretty much covered everything. So I'm going to put all of this stuff away. So join me in the next video when we get into our food, sleep, cook, and our clothing choices. We'll see you then.